I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can we find a single reason not to say goodbye? Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. Oh, would that make you run and hide? Don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options, nothing's working. I'm out of service. Come help me now, I'm fucking nervous. I'm trying but can't scratch the surface. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I did.
Everybody, this is Cody James the Barker from the NWA, also the leader of Cody Country. You are watching Call TV. Follow these guys on all their socials. Click, like, subscribe, share, and give these guys the respect that they give to you in content.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. This is a special episode because not only are we live, we are supersized, baby. That's right. The network extended us an extra 30 minutes tonight because we got so much wrestling to talk about. I'm XLJ the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother. I think this week he is hailing all the way from Cobb County, Georgia. One Mr. B. Roll. How are you doing, buddy?
All I know is I am somewhere where I think my Wi-Fi is absolute dog crap.
Okay.
Are we live?
We are live.
I think we're live.
We're live. Hey, we will say this. If there's some technical difficulties before we got on our live here, understand there's some streaming issues going on right now with YouTube. So hopefully we don't run across those issues. Everything seems A-okay for us. But nonetheless, like I say, this is a supersized episode, B-roll, because we got so much to talk about. We got 90 minutes to get it all in. You think we can do it? Because a lot of wrestling happened this past week.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like we took our 6 from the 60 and we turned it
today.
And made it a 9.
We're PW 90 today, but just
PW 90 today.
It's got to be a lot of stuff we cram in because we usually go over, but thankfully the network is so nice with us. So nonetheless, B-roll, I think we got to get right to it, don't you think?
I think we do because we got a lot to talk about, from the indies all the way to the granddaddy,
the Impact, TNA, AEW, GCW, so much. So, if you will,
the clock starts now.
There we go. And our top story this week, we are coming off of WWE's Clash at the Castle from overseas at the world famous Hydro in Scotland. And once again, international crowds proving that they can bring it and make these shows all the more enjoyable. What's your first thoughts on Clash of the Castle? Do you like the show?
I saw a solid show. Wasn't really a bad
match. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really a bad match. I liked the I Quit match. I liked the main event. I liked the tag team title change, even though it kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
But let me not divulge too much because we're gonna break it down.
We're gonna get right into it. And of course, we got to start with that main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest defending against up against an entire country, essentially going up against Drew McIntyre in a place where Drew has wrestled on numerous of times, sold out the Hydro there in Scotland. And I gotta say, this match to me, like, over delivered. And I was really surprised with that. I mean, I thought it'd be a good matchup and the crowd was going to be into it. But once again, I think my biggest takeaway from this is it comes out why Damian Priest is the world champion. He should be the world champion. He is at the top of his game. And B-Roll, I honestly think this is his, outside of winning the title at WrestleMania, I think is his best match, biggest moment he's had yet today in this title run he's had. I think this, to me, felt like a career-defining moment once again for him, and he's had several. But as far as like the champion, I feel like, okay, I feel like the last couple months it's kind of been like, okay, he's the champion, whatever. But to me, this was like, okay, Damian Priest is our guy. Did you take that away from this matchup, or what exactly did you take away from this match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was concerned with the one spot, like if he got hurt or not.
Yeah, it's a nasty spot there where he got tangled in the ropes with his foot from jumping over the top. So yeah, nasty looking spot.
But I mean, okay, like you said, big moment for his career. Okay, and let's look at this practically. Okay, now you could say, oh man, they screwed Drew again. Like, I can't believe how they're treating Drew. What's he got to do? Yada yada yada. Okay, but are they really screwing Drew? Are they really screwing Drew? Because okay, what do you care more about? That Damian is the champion? Or do you care more about this CM Punk, Drew McIntyre feud that we have going on?
Yeah, it's interesting because this and of course, for those of you, if you don't know by now, if you're under the rock, you don't know. Yes, as we called it on our prediction show, shenanigans were afoot as CM Punk come out as the referee and would not count the 3 after a Claymore was delivered, and ultimately would deliver a low blow to Drew McIntyre to cost him this matchup. Here's the thing, man. This is what's fascinating to me about this rivalry. Do we really have like a true heel and a babyface in this? You don't, because they're both doing kind of chicken shit things to each other. Matter of fact, dare I say, you could argue that Punk is doing a lot more of the chicken shit heel tactics than Drew is. I mean, Drew just so happened to be, with the injury, and he said the controversial comments following it. So, I don't know. I am like fully cannot wait to see what is going on with this feud. What's up, Savage? How you doing, buddy? We are ready for Monday Night Raw, buddy. Yeah.
I'm just trying to match his energy.
I know. You're
hard.
Not going to come close, bro. The Savage is savage, man. But no, like I thought, I am so invested in this rivalry, and it's just, to me, it's unique because we're looking at this as like we don't really have a true heel or a baby face. Yeah, there you go. It's okay to have a bad guy versus a bad guy. It happens all the time. So it's to me, it's about the rivalry and it's the what they've caused the harm to each other. Like, and also too, I think there's some fascinating parallels to me between Drew McIntyre and Bret Hart's run in 1997, where he was kind of a babyface in Canada and a heel everywhere else. Kind of because he's still kind of playing off those babyface tendencies. But I don't. I'm eating this up. I'm ready for this matchup. I truly think if Punk is cleared, which I think he will be, I think we're gonna get this matchup at SummerSlam. And buddy, we're so blessed because we're gonna be there live and in person to witness this matchup. But I mean,
Whoop.
how do you feel about the Punk McIntyre rivalry so far?
Oh, I mean, see, that was, I mean, that was the point. I was trying to make like, I, I mean, so the title is doing more for Damian by him having it. Drew
Agreed.
didn't need the title because he has this
Agreed.
story. I
And
mean,
it adds more
so
to his
yeah,
character and the struggle. Like, God, he just keeps getting screwed over and over again, right? So, but you can
like
beg the question:
now,
did he bring it on
I would have,
himself?
liked to seen like the people like ready to like go after Punk. I mean, he found some Punk fans and
Yeah.
they were
Well, I don't
cheering
know.
him.
Did you see the clips afterwards, like of Drew's reactions to this, and just him going off on like anybody near? And then what I found fascinating is like Wade Barrett come up to him was just like, "Yeah, fuck Punk." And if you really want to do a deep dive on this is almost going all the way back to the days of like when Punk took over the Nexus, and who led the Nexus? Wade Barrett.
Wade
So
Barrett.
it's just I love it. We talk about it all the time. I love it when you pick up on these little nuances, these little things, these little hidden gems, if you will, that's sprinkled in between. But I thought this match delivered. It was tremendous. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the crowd all the more made it enjoyable too. Man, it was a solid main event. And I think for me personally, going into it, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations there, and I thought the crowd would be awesome. But yeah.
Last thing I'll say,
Okay.
great camera angle of him
Oh,
coming in.
I'm so glad you pointed that out with the referee, because I think the crowd kind of knew it was Punk, but not until like the real big reveal. So,
Yeah.
but it was pretty awesome. I totally agree, my friend. And of course, yes, Damian Priest is still your world heavyweight champion. All things look like Priest is on a collision course at SummerSlam with Gunther, but hey, we still got Money in the Bank to go through, so anything can happen now and then between for the WWE. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But also, the WWE Championship was on the line in an I Quit matchup as Cody Rhodes went up against AJ Styles. Fun match, great way to open the show, I thought. The got a little bit of color there on Cody, which you don't obviously see a whole lot in WWE. Let me ask you this: was this match as good or better than the Backlash matchup between these two?
I'm gonna say as good, maybe a touch better.
Yeah, I think what it is like from a traditional wrestling standpoint, the first match is better by far. But adding into the element of the brutality of this, of course, with the story where it had progressed to, I thought both matches, they stand on their own. Both are solid matches. The crowd is phenomenal for both matches. And there's some people kind of that weren't too big fans of the finish of this one, with Cody getting the ring steps and AJ pretty much quitting so like he wouldn't get hit. But I don't know. I was okay with it. What did you think of the finish of this matchup?
I mean, I was okay with it. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want to get hit in the face with ring steps.
Yeah.
I
Please don't.
yeah, I mean that would hurt, I think. But yeah, and Mama Rhodes was there slapping
Mama
AJ.
Rhodes, yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I had convinced myself in like a alternative universe somewhere that like AJ was gonna like, I don't know, have like Mama Rhodes like, I don't know, tied up or handcuffed or was going to hurt Mama Rhodes. And I was like,
The hell kind of wrestling are you watching, brother?
hey. I was like, oh gosh, Mama Rhodes is there. AJ's going to use
You're gonna have
this
Mama
like,
Rhodes handcuffed and tied up. Damn, bro. I think you're watching some of them videos from the 90s you get in the catalogs of the ladies wrestling, but I'm sorry. I had to do
yeah. Okay.
it. You love me. But yeah, no, I get you mean though. Like, yeah, like okay, there was gonna be some harm done to Mama Rhodes, but I don't know. Mama Rhodes, I think, would have whipped his ass, honestly. I love AJ, but you think this is kind of like, I think we kind of put the bow on this rivalry.
Nope.
I think you don't think so? You don't think
Nope.
so? Really? Really? So what do you think? Where do we go from here?
I told you my thoughts. I think, last week.
So you think we get
Hell
a
in
third
a Cell.
match?
Hell
Oh,
in a
Hell in a
Cell.
Cell. Nah, I think we're done. I think, and I mean, obviously, if you look at the end of this matchup too, because Solo coming out confronting Cody, the
That's
bloodline.
true too. Yeah.
So I think we're done with it for now. My real question is, where do we go with from AJ?
I know.
Well,
we'll get to it
yeah,
later in the
we
show.
do know, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, in the WWE though, where do we go?
Do you think WWE?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
He could be he's a top heel on SmackDown, so I don't know.
Yeah.
He's already feuded with like some of the top baby faces there. He's done LA Knight. He's done Cody. So
I mean, I'd be okay with them like kind of like him and the Good Brothers trying to run rough shop a little bit. Like,
yeah, you could do that. Or maybe he goes down to NXT and kind of does some shenanigans there. Who knows? But
see, that's almost what I said. But I was like, it's AJ Styles. Why would he go to NXT? But
no, he's phenomenal. He can go anywhere he wants. But nonetheless, awesome matchup. And it does look like, say, Cody's kind of going to this rivalry with KO and Randy Orton going up against the Bloodline. But I want to point something out from that. I'm sure you've seen this. There's a screenshot of Randy standing next to Cody, and what's he doing? He's looking right at that WWE Championship. He's not lusting for Elizabeth, but he's lusting for that gold. I, in my heart of hearts, believe this is going to lead to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, and that's a matchup I've been dying to see. So I don't know, man.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah, so much awesome wrestling going on there right now, bro. Especially in the WWE. Well, let's talk about the rest of Clash of the Castle. We also had the WWE Women's Championship was on the line as Bayley defended against the hometown hero of Piper Niven. A fun matchup, a solid matchup, man. And as much as Piper was over, dude, that crowd, everybody loves Bayley. I mean, how can you not love Bayley?
I know. Like, I mean, like, all I can say is, hey, Bayley. Ooh, I wanna know. Will you be my girl?
I think the real MVP of this matchup, though, Chelsea Green. Come on, like just the ensemble and just the crazy kookiness, and then her coming out later on in a fucking luchador mask. Like
now, we cannot confirm that. We don't know who that was.
Okay, sure.
Could have been anybody.
Whatever you say.
Could have been CM Punk for all we know.
Yeah. Well, CM Punk's looking pretty damn good if that was him. So, but nonetheless, solid matchup. One thing I thought was really cool. I don't know if you can see here on Piper Niven's knee pad. If you can see, it says A. You can see in this picture it says AD, but it's actually Adrian's what it said on it. And for those of you hardcore diehard fans, Adrian was the name of the famous ICW wrestler Lionheart, who tragically committed suicide right when he was the world champion too there in ICW. But I thought that was a nice little homage and a tribute to him. I thought it was pretty cool. And there was a lot of other little shout outs throughout the weekend to ICW too, man. So it was super awesome to see that. But nonetheless, solid matchup. But let's talk about this one, this triple threat for the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions as your champions, Jade and Bianca, going up against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and of course Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. So a solid matchup. Interesting thing to note here. I believe, if I remember reading this correctly, Jade's luggage didn't make it over, so she had to get like she had to get her gear like last minute. Like the seamstress had to make something up. So this wasn't originally like her planned like fit for this show.
Well, she looked dope.
She looked great, and but maybe that's why they lost, because yes, shockingly enough, Jade and Bianca did lose the tag titles to the opportunistic Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the hometown heroes. And what a moment too, especially considering Alba Fire, or was it Alba Fire's mom that passed? I forget. It was her mom that passed. Had just passed what, like weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, how appropriate, what a moment for her. And she's another one who's had great success in the Hydro in years past at ICW shows. So this was a pretty badass moment, I think. I don't know. A lot of people are saying, okay, they're just going to be transitional champions. I hope they get a little bit of a run. I mean, you can still do stuff with Bianca and Jade. You don't have to split them up yet. You can still have them like chase or whatever, but huge moment for them. They deserve it. And they are the new tag team champions. Of course, they had to be our wrestlers of the week here on PW60 is Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. What do you think of the new champs, my friend?
I like it, and for a few reasons. Because I didn't like how they did that whole NXT tag titles and the women's tag title thing.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, so I feel like this kind of like rights that wrong for me a little bit.
For now. It's just I don't want to tune in on Friday night and like they drop the belts back to him or something. Like give him a little bit of a run. I mean, even if it's a couple of months or something. But you already want to see him. You think it's going to happen. They're going to drop him first thing.
I think it's going to happen. I don't want to see it. I just think it's going to happen.
Well, we'll find out this week on Friday Night SmackDown. Hopefully that is not the case. But this matchup was incredible, to say the least. The storytelling going into it, we all knew this rivalry between Chad Gable and Sami Zayn that has just been building since WrestleMania. Finally, a true, like on a pay-per-view, damn it, because I'm still calling them pay-per-views, not PLEs. Chad Gable getting his one-on-one matchup with Sami Zayn, as he so rightfully deserved. And he had, Alpha Academy there, Maxine and Otis as backup. It looked like some shenanigans was going to happen. But Sami Zayn able to pull out the win. I was a little surprised with it, honestly. But it was announced. We do know Chad Gable has officially re-signed with WWE. So, which I think is definitely the right move, regardless if he won the IC title or not. I thought this matchup was tremendous, like with the storytelling and the physicality in between these two. What did you think of the IC title match at Clash at the Castle?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I loved and adored it. And it's because it's because of the storytelling. That's what it boils down to.
Crowd was super hot to this too.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. Now I get that the story has been told with Sami and yada yada yada, but Sami almost didn't need to be a part of this match, almost, because what made it so good was the storytelling with Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
Now does that make sense? Yes, Sami had to be in the match because there had.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But, the focus of the story here really was Alpha Academy, and it's gonna be interesting to see, especially on tonight's Raw, to see what happens with Alpha Academy. And I'm not gonna speculate, but there's some rumors about what Chad Gable could be doing next, and I'll just leave it at that. Nonetheless, this was an incredible matchup. And it had to be our match of the week here this week on Pro Wrestling 60. Well, Mr. B-Roll, I think it's that time of the show where we need some good, solid advice from our friendly neighborhood dad hat. So let's go to Dad Hat.
Chad Gable needs some advice.
He does. He does. Maybe he should listen to Dad Hat. So let's go to Dad Hat for the Dad Hat's tip of the week.
Everybody, this is Cody James, the Barker.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids, always remember the phrase bros before hoes is not always accurate.
Well, he's not wrong. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about after Clash at the Castle, the press conference, and who shows up on CM Punk, the ultimate troll, man, like just wearing the green, number one, you know, the Celtic color. Hell, the Boston Celtics are in the NBA finals right now, you know. Bringing food, of course, the donuts. Oh my God. Well, like, what did you think of this? Like, were you like, this is ridiculous? Were you just laughing your ass off on it?
So, somewhere in the middle, like
somewhere in the middle. Okay.
I mean, like when the guy was like, "Oh, you and Drew should the first match should be a Hell in a Cell," he was like, "That's why I'm glad you don't book a wrestling."
Yeah, like I'm not doing that. I ain't got no time for that. But nonetheless, I don't know, man. Like the way I look at it, Punk looks like he's happy. So if it's a happy Punk, you know, say what you will about him. Like, I mean, the dude does make money. You can't talk. He gets people talking, so you can't deny that man, whether you love him, hate him, whatever. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty. It got a chuckle out of me. But let's go back here again, talking about Damian Priest in that matchup. This to me is the most amazing thing. Is like Priest. I thought he was seriously hurt, and the word coming out of the show, perfectly fine. He was selling the shit out of this. This is how you should sell, folks. For any aspiring professional wrestlers, watch this matchup. Watch Damian Priest, man, because this is what it's all about right here. Because, I mean, I truly believed, I was like, shit, he is really fucking hurt. I'm sure he was a little sore after the match, but man, oh man. Once again, a tip of the cap. Can't say it enough. Damian Priest is such a phenomenal pro wrestler, man. And he deserves everything he's got right now. But didn't you think the same thing? You're like, oh shit, he may be out.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like, I don't know if I've ever seen like where they got
that type of a
caught in the
spot happen
ropes
like that. Yeah, and if you don't know, there's some and if you don't know, there's some controversy going on out there. Supposedly AJ or the referee in the AJ Styles Cody Rhodes match had alerted the AJ and the performers like, hey, the ropes are loose, and there was a Jake Gargill kind of had a little snafu as well that night, so there was kind of a little controversial with the ropes at this show, but nonetheless, it was still a solid show, and everybody's okay, so that's the most important thing. But once again, kudos to Damian Priest, man. And like I said, I thought it was cool. A lot of ICW shout outs, including this moment right here, where Drew McIntyre showed up at ICW's show this weekend. Of course, really cool moment too, being in the ring with his former enemy, Jack Jester. And of course, like they've got a really great friendship in real life. But I was happy to see Drew back in ICW. And I think I said this on our prediction show multiple times. I can't say it enough. Do yourself a favor. Go over to Triller. Look, ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling's over there. You can see their whole catalog of amazing wrestling they've done in the past and that they're currently doing as well. So give them a watch, man. ICW is an amazing promotion coming out of Scotland. Now, speaking of which, it was a big weekend over in Scotland. And we here at PW6, we got to thinking about, like, man, there's been so many great Scottish figures all throughout the history. They have to be just super proud of Drew McIntyre. And to kind of really sum this up for us, you knew we had to go to our good friend, the best scout machine, with his thoughts on Drew McIntyre's performance this weekend at Clash at the Castle.
P-Dub City? What is up, P-Dub City? It's the BGM, and I want to talk about Drew McIntyre, formerly known as Drew Galloway, just going up there with one of the greatest Scottish wrestlers of all time at Clash at the Castle, making his fellow Scotsmen very proud, such as Roddy Piper, Fit Finlay. He made fellow Scotsman Hornswoggle proud, along with the legend Crown's Keeper Willie, and don't forget the Loch Ness Monster, or Loch Ness. Now, I could say that Disco Inferno is a proud Scotsman, but that'd be a lie. He's not a Scotsman. But you know who is a Scotsman? Shania Twain! Also, Ricky Spanish, Kerry Goldbutter, Waylon Smithers, and finally, the greatest Scotsman of all time, the gas leak I'm currently experiencing. Potato.
Oh, God, I hope you're okay, Best Scout. Get out of there, my friend. Well, we thank you, good sir. And hey, we just lost B-roll, but we'll try to get him back in here. But let's talk about another huge event this weekend. TNA's Against All Odds took place this Friday in Chicago at the Cesario Stadium. And I got to tell you, this was a big show for TNA. A lot of eyes on TNA wrestling over these past couple weeks, and rightfully so. But let's talk about it. The main event of this show, we got to see Moose go up against one broken Matt Hardy. And of course, the system once again retaining, as Moose did defeat broken Matt Hardy to keep his championship. But the big story coming out of this, Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, is back in TNA wrestling, where he rightfully belongs, in my opinion. I think a rich history there in TNA, and with TNA getting popular here yet again, it makes sense, man. I thought it was Solid Moon. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They weren't doing shit with him in AEW. So, I mean, I thought it made sense to see him pop up. He's a free agent. This literally just happened. I mean, his brother's there too. Hey, there we go, B-roll. Welcome back, buddy. We're just talking about Jeff Hardy showing up in TNA. What'd you think of this from Against All Odds?
Cool moment. I mean, why not? Why
Can
not?
I just say this about the Hardy Boys? And I mean, this is no disrespect, but you guys really got to work on like running out there and saving like whoever you're going to save, because it's like you always take your sweet ass time. We saw this at an Impact taping where we're at. Like, it took Matt Hardy, it seemed like 5 minutes to come down and like save the day. And then, you know, Jeff Hardy's, everybody's gotten their ass handed to him. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to conveniently come down. I'm just saying, guys, get better on like saving each other. And then, you know, doing your little, we can do that afterwards. So, although he didn't really do it here, but I digress. But nonetheless, Jeff Hardy is in TNA. Look at this super group. We got the Nemeth brothers, the Hardy Boys, Joe Hendry. Of course, that's Reby Hardy in there with Matt Hardy. I guess this is like the new group that's going to stand tall against the system. So interesting stuff going on in TNA wrestling, and it's like I say, I think Jeff Hardy going there, it makes a lot of sense. Of course, the other big matchup on Against All Odds was Jordynne Grace defending her Knockouts championship, and this would be against a mystery opponent. And yes, indeed, it did so happen to be NXT's Tatum Paxley would answer the call. Of course, obviously costing Jordynne Grace, or being a part of costing Jordynne Grace last week at NXT Breakdown. So it only makes sense for her to show up, or Battleground, Breakdown, Battleground, whatever, same thing. You know what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, not shocked Tatum Paxley showing up in this match, but it was a great matchup. And once again, we got this continued relationship with WWE and NXT, which we're going to talk about a little bit more here later in the show. But solid matchup. And Jordynne Grace, man, is there any better wrestler in the world right now than Jordynne Grace? I mean, I want to see it. Because, I mean, she's having a year, dude. Like, she is having a year. And she's had some great years before, but I mean, I feel like this has been the year of Jordynne Grace. If you was to ask me right now, who is your female wrestler of the year, it's Jordynne Grace without doubt. There's been a lot of great. There's a lot of great right now, but I would have to say Jordynne Grace. You're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like if Rhea hadn't gotten hurt, there'd be an argument.
Oh
there.
yeah, I could, and you
She
can say
got
Tony
hurt.
Storm too. Tony Storm's on a run of a lifetime right now too. But I don't know, just Jordynne Grace kicking down doors, kicking ass, and taking names, man. Big Mama Pump is killing it. Let's talk about the rest of Against All Odds, and of course, we had several other title matches. Of course, Mustafa Ali would retain his X Division Championship against one Trent Seven. The System would retain their tag team titles against the Nemeth brothers, and of course, Masha Slamovich and Alicia Edwards would retain their Knockouts tag team titles against the Hex. Some other matches to note on Against All Odds too. We had Sami Zayn go up against Jonathan Gresham in a rematch. Okay. Timeless Tony Storm hand downs. Yeah. I mean, I think it's 50-50. You could argue between the two, but I don't know. Also, we got to see Santana and Steve Maclin form this weird partnership. Dude, Santana, get the fuck out of there. You don't want to team with White Bread. He's just gonna drag your ass down, bro. Like seriously, you guys won your match against the Rascals. Be done. I do not want to see him teaming up. You just got out of a tag team, bro, and it was a good tag team. But come on, man, you and Steve Maclin as the Mortal Worlds of Tony Schiavone. Yeah, that's gonna put butts in seats. I'm sorry, but just be done with it, bro. You don't want nothing to do with them. I also got to see PCO go up against Rich Swann and Steph DeLander. She answered, yes, she is going to go on a date with PCO. It's going to be interesting to see, my friend. And yes, I do have mixed feelings about it, but that's another story for another time. Kazarian went up against Joe Hendry. A little surprised with this one with Kazarian going over on Joe Hendry, but I don't know. I mean, I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again. I think Joe Hendry is without a doubt the hottest act that TNA Wrestling has right now. So they should be putting the belt on him at either Slammiversary or Bound for Glory, in my opinion. And also,
if I had my poster within reach,
Alex,
that
Josh,
should be your next champ.
Yeah, it should be. And also, Josh Alexander and Eric Young went up against ABC. Against All Odds was a solid show. We say it every week here on PW60. If you're not watching TNA Wrestling, go out of your way to watch them because they are killing it right now. A lot of eyes on the product, and they are just knocking it out of the park. And I believe up next, we do have Slammiversary is the next big show for them. So, and that's going to be huge. So it'll be interesting to see. And I believe they have announced one matchup for that, which we're probably going to get into this a little bit later. But nonetheless, it's a pretty awesome matchup, and I can't wait to see it. Well, we mentioned this earlier. AJ Styles, holy bleep! What a freaking announcement this was, as this came out of left field. As at Pro Wrestling Noah's Destination 2024 event, it's a dream matchup. AJ Styles to go one-on-one with Naomichi Marufuji. Dude, this is crazy because here's the deal. You know, we knew Noah and WWE had a working relationship. We knew, like, okay, they're going to lend out some talent or whatever. And normally you'd think it's somebody that's not predominantly featured on television. You look back a couple of years ago, Shinsuke Nakamura went there to work against Muta. But this is a guy that they're getting, an AJ Styles, who just came off a feud with the top face of the WWE. And now he's going to work Pro Wrestling Noah. This is a holy shit moment if there ever was one, man. And this matchup is going to be fucking nuts, dude. Like, I mean, I know you're kind of a fan of Marufuji for what you've seen, and you know AJ Styles good and well. Like, what do you think of this matchup at Pro Wrestling Noah?
I mean, first off, I'd like to say, why is AJ Styles going to copy Will Ospreay? But that's neither here nor there.
What do you mean? Just because Ospreay wrestled Marufuji?
Yeah, basically.
That's not copy.
Anyways, neither here nor there. But okay, here's the deal. Marufuji can still go.
Oh yeah.
And
oh
we
yeah.
know AJ can go.
AJ can go. Yeah. That's the interesting thing too, B-roll. Both of these guys in their careers are kind of like they've been around for several years, for multiple years. But they are still like in their prime almost. I mean, this is going to be a tremendous matchup. Like, and however you got to watch it. Even if you got to watch it at 3 a.m. To me, this is a matchup worth getting up for sure. This, and you may think I'm crazy, some of you out there, but I almost liken this to back to the Wrestle Kingdom 12 when Chris Jericho went up against Kenny Omega. Like, I mean, that's the quality of matchup I think this is going to be and deliver. So I'm pumped as hell for this, but we're not done there yet with the WWE's working relationship with Japanese-based promotions, because holy shit, this got announced too at the next Marigold event, which is obviously going to be their biggest one to date. We are going to get Utami Hashishita go one-on-one with Io Sky in a dream matchup. A lot of diehard Joshi fans have been waiting to see. Like, holy shit. Like, they've done it again. Now, I will say, to WWE's credit, I do think this is when WWE is over in Japan, so it kind of makes sense for them to kind of let their talent work these dates. But still, though, it's fucking amazing. It's fucking awesome. This is the shit you dream of, man. Like, dude, I am so pumped for both of these matches. But what do you think of this, Io Sky?
I mean, and this is the stuff that we haven't seen of the WWE for like ever.
Oh yeah, has it existed? Absolutely. But let's call a spade under the last 20 plus years under the like old man Vince like reign. Like, nah, this shit was not happening. But here we are again, man, getting into these healthy relationships, and I'm so stoked for both of these matches. Cannot freaking wait to see. But you know what, B-roll? There's somebody else here on this show who's very stoked for this matchup, and he's got a lot of information about this as well as everything that's going on in the world of Joshi right now, because there's a ton going on with Stardom and Marigold. So that being said, let's go to our good friend, the light-skinned Gaijin, with a report.
You know, man, even I got to admit, this was a swerve right here. I was not expecting this. Hang on a minute, I'm a little parched here. The excitement has made my throat dry. Can we expect more out of this? I mean, it's 2024 now. Expect the unexpected. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite Joshi enthusiast, the light-skinned guy, Jim Denard Ramon, and I am here to give you everything that is happening in the world of Joshi. This coming Saturday, Stardom will present The Conversion live from Yoyogi National Gymnasium, where we will see 3 unique title matches. We will see the Goddess of Stardom titles on the line as FWC members Koguma and Hazuki will defend those championships against New Blood Tag Team Champions Wing Gori, Saya Ida, and Hanan. Wonder of Stardom champion Saori Anou will defend her title against Sendai Girls mainstay in Mika Iwata. And Micah defends the World of Stardom Championship against fellow Empress Nexus Venus member Xena. But the big match on the card happens to be the 10-woman elimination matchup that pits Oedo Tai against Queen's Quest. This right here is the final chapter in this epic rivalry. Because as Natsuko Tora put it, all of the members that have been eliminated will eventually leave their unit, and the person who loses the last remaining fall stays in the unit, but has no one to lead. So who will meet their demise, Queen's Quest or Oedo Tai? Tune in Saturday, June 22nd from the Yoyogi National Gymnasium when Stardom presents The Conversion. Follow Stardom on all of their socials so you don't have to miss this epic show. And by far the biggest news of them all. This past Monday, new Joshi startup promotion Marigold would host a show live from Korakuen Hall, which they announced their new Summer Destiny show, which would take place on July 13th live from the Ryokoku Kokugikan. That show will be headlined by incoming NXT star Julia taking on former NXT star Saray. However, the most shocking news came at the conclusion at the end of Utami Hayashishita's match, where Rossy Ogawa announced that at Summer Destiny, Utami Hayashishita would be facing a dream opponent. Who exactly is this dream opponent, you ask? It'd be none other than WWE superstar Io Sky. Io Sky, better known as Io Shirai, has made a name for herself not just in the Stardom promotion but all over the country of Japan. And here she is facing a woman who has been a heavy influence for the reason why she got into pro wrestling in Utami Hayashishita. The match dubbed Queen of Queen will definitely be one to remember, especially since Io and Utami have so much in common throughout their careers. Both have had memorable runs as World of Stardom champion. Both have been leaders of the legendary faction known as Queen's Quest. And how appropriate is this match being dubbed Queen of Queen? Ladies and gentlemen, I highly suggest that you sign up for Wrestle Universe so you don't miss this epic show that will be taking place at the Ryogoku Kokukikan on July 13th. I gotta say, I cannot wait to find out who will bow down to their queen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it all for me. I am the light-skinned Gaijin Denard Ramon. And remember, Joshi Wrestling is for everyone.
Yes, it is, my friend. Well, thank you so much, Light Skin Gaijin. We appreciate you, brother. And it looks like we lost B-roll here again for a minute, but we'll try to get him back here. But we got so much more to talk about here on PW60. Let's get into this right here. The G1 Climax 34 participants have been announced. And I gotta say, it's interesting how they're doing it this year because we are going back to the traditional A block, B block. We've got 10 competitors in each block, and we've got a play-in qualifier, which we'll talk about here in a second. But let's break it down. In your A block, you got Shota Umino, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, Sanada, the Great Okan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd returning to G1 action, which I think is great. Evil, but the big one, the big shocker, the big surprise, Pro Wrestling Noah's Jake Lee. And I can tell you this personally, I know our good friend, the Best Scout Machine, was very moist when he heard that news because he's a huge fan of Jake Lee. And of course, whoever is the qualify A block winner will join these competitors, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But in the B block, we have El Phantasmo, Hiroki Goto, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, David Finlay, Rin Narita, and another surprise, AEW and DDT's Takeshita will be participating in the G1 Climax this year as well. So you got a couple surprises, but we do have a play-in to determine who will get the final spots in each block. Now, on the A block sides of things, competing in that will be Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, Caleb Newman, Kenta, Chase Owens, and Yujiro Takahashi. Now, in the B block, we've got TJP, Taichi, Satoshi Kojima, Bolton Oleg, Toru Yano, and the biggest surprise of them all, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi is having to compete in a qualifier to get in? Like, holy shit, that's crazy to me. Outside of Masahiro Chono, Tanahashi is probably arguably the most successful G1 Climax competitor of all time. And it's just crazy to think he's playing in a playoff. I mean, I know he's in a different spot in his career. If I had to pick two out of these, I think your B block winner, I think it will be Tanahashi getting in. Although I'm rooting for Bolton Oleg because I think that'll be an awesome. That's who they should go with, and it could happen. But I just got a feeling it's gonna be Tanahashi because I just can't see a G1 without him. And in the A block, I truly think that this is the time for this young man to rise. I think it'll be Caleb Newman. What do you think, B-Roll, about the A block and B block qualifiers?
So I would say I agree with you on the B block. I think it will be Tanahashi because it's Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's what they're doing on purpose. But with the A block, I'm gonna go with Kenta.
Kenta's a good candidate too, as well. So that being said, it's early on, but we now know the combatants, how this is going down. Who do you think is going to win the A block, and who do you think is going to be the B block winner? I got an opinion. I think who it's going to be. I think I think what we need to do, where we're at right now in New Japan Pro Wrestling, is a rebuilding period, and this G1 Climax is perfect to set up your new stars. And what I would do, there's a way I would book it, but there's a way I think it's going to go down. I think in the A block, the winner of A block should be Shota Umino. I feel like Shota Umino is the guy who can be like the next. I'm not saying he's going to be as great as him, but I think he can be like the next Okada, the next like Tanahashi, the next like top babyface of this company. And then in the B block, the way I would do it, I would set it up a la what you did so many years ago, thinking back to the 91 or 92 G1 final with rivals the Great Muta and Masahiro Chono. Let's do another rivalry that's going to last for years. Let's put Ren Narita winning B block. I don't think he's going to win B block, though. I think B block winner is going to probably be David Finlay. But if I'm picking a winner, maybe I'm biased here, but I've got a feeling in my heart of hearts, I want Shota Umino to win this whole thing. I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy you can like latch onto. And we know it's a tradition in New Japan it's not necessarily, okay, he wins the G1, then he's going to win the IWGP Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. Usually if they win their first G1, typically they do not succeed. But that could happen. I don't know. What do you think about who you think should win the G1 Climax?
Yeah, I mean, which I know I was having connection issues, but yeah, I'm excited that Jake Lee's in this as well.
Yeah.
I've told you who Jake Lee reminds me of, right?
Oh, we're fully aware. He looks like a better looking version of Jimmy the King. Yes, the Jimmy the King from Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, I just get that vibe. I just get that vibe from it. So, but yeah, one question: why is Jon Moxley not in this tournament? Huh? Spoiler alert.
Well, I think you just answered your question there, my friend. So, because traditionally the IWGP champion has participated in the G1 Climax, which I always thought was kind of weird because like they don't have to win it. But anyways, I digress. But seriously, who do you think wins A block? Who do you think wins B block? I'm putting you on the spot.
So I'm gonna agree with you on A block. I think Shota should win it. I think that makes sense. It wouldn't surprise me if Zack Sabre Jr. won it.
Could happen.
But if I'm picking, I'm picking Shota. And B block, I think B block's down to like 2 or 3, I think. On this, and more so too. I think kind of what you said, David Finlay or Ren Narita. But yeah, I think it should be Ren Narita. Because of the contrasting styles and I'm with you. I like they need to establish these new stars. And like they need to do it quick because they had momentum and then they lost some momentum.
But the
other one, I would consider is Yota Tsuji, but
I thought that too.
I think the rival. I think the classic rivalry out of the new Three Musketeers is Shota Umino and Ren Narita. Like
I agree. I agree 100%. I agree. Yep. But either way,
I do say that Konosuke Takeshita and Yota Tsuji are going to have a match though, and it is going to be a banger, guaranteed.
Yeah, it is going to be a solid matchup. But the G1's always fun to watch, and it should be incredible this year. And it's going to be interesting to see these young talents from New Japan Pro Wrestling, see where they end up in the G1 Climax. Now, this past weekend, New Japan Seoul took place, and we had several big moments and title changes. The biggest one being El Desperado continuing the momentum of winning the Super Juniors Championship. He is now once again your IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, your champion, as he defeated Show in a cage. Thank God for that. The title is back where it rightfully belongs. Huge win and a shout out to this man too, Aaron Hanare, defeating Shingo Takagi for the Never Openweight Championship, and this is his first singles title win in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So congratulations to Hanare. He's an incredible professional wrestler. He truly deserves it. And also, we do have, once again, the trios team of Toru Yano, Oleg Boatleg, and Hiroshi Tanahashi have won the Never Openweight Tag Team Championship, the 6-man Tag Team Championship. So they have retained. Won it back again. But speaking of retaining, in the semi-main event, David Finlay reclaimed his what the fuck are we calling this again? The International Global Championship. I hate these fucking names on the belt, man. Because call it what it was, is a fucking Intercontinental title. There's my little rant for the week. But nonetheless, David Finlay retains over Sonata. And also, speaking of his Bullet Club War Dogs members, they retained the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship. So solid show there in New Japan with Seoul. And it's just crazy to think, man, there's just so much going on in the world of pro wrestling that we haven't even talked about Monday Night Raw from this past week, bro. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about Raw. And man, oh man, solid show is your go-home show going into Clash at the Castle. That incredible matchup with Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov, man. Hell of a main event with Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre. Of course, that's what led to the Judgment Day being buried from ringside, and the continuation of Liv Morgan going after Dirty Dom, wanting to call her daddy. I don't know.
Happy Father.
But did you notice how
Father's Day?
Yeah. Did you notice how Finn Balor took the hotel key? So it makes me wonder, what were you up to, Finn? But hey, that's neither here nor there. But this is the big moment off Raw we got to talk about. As we all know, Ricochet letting WWE know, hey, I'm pretty much going to be done wrapping up with you. And boy, oh boy, did they write him off TV and then some, as he was practically murdered on Monday Night Raw by Braun Breaker. Of course, ring announcer and girlfriend Samantha Irvine had to leave ringside. What about your boy Colin doing the introductions for the main event too? I know you ate that shit up.
That was kind of hilarious.
It was this big
with
big
him trolling the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And Finn Balor from the bum ass Judgment Day or something like that.
Oh man, I love Pat, man. He does such a fucking good job. But Raw was a solid show. Friday night SmackDown, of course, coming from the Hydro there, that red hot crowd. Got to see Randy Orton return to help out Kevin Owens in his matchup or the aftermath with Solo Sikoa. Santos Escobar and Apollo finally going 1-on-1. Of course, Chelsea Green was in action too. But we've got to talk about LA Knight here. He's got a reputation, B-roll, for just breaking into people's houses. And not get arrested. What is up with that? Who does LA Knight know? How is he not getting arrested?
There's somebody in my house.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
He was just in my house.
Yeah. Yeah, he just likes breaking into people's houses. I don't get it, bro. But nonetheless, the SmackDown Go-Ho show was an awesome show this past weekend. Let's talk about NXT. Was a solid show as well, man. Of course, the big news coming out of this is Cody Rhodes making an appearance, and every segment Cody was in was awesome. I love the passing of the dashing Cody Rhodes mask to JC Jane. I thought was fucking great, and I ate that shit up. Also, we got to talk about this moment here with Cody where the IWC, I'm sure, went talking about, you guys are in a good place. Like, what did you make of that? Like, yeah, like you kind of knew something like that was happening, right? But when that happened, were you just like, oh shit, they went there?
Well, is he wrong though? Like,
Oh, he's not wrong.
I mean,
I mean, no
and here's the
disrespect.
thing.
I love AEW, but I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are just doing better. Like
And here's the and I have said this multiple times. There are some people who are just they're gonna work better in the WWE.
yeah,
There are some people that are just gonna work better in AEW.
yeah,
Honestly,
I agree.
so let's use Ricochet as an example. Honestly, I think Ricochet, his style and everything, kind of works for AEW.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't really work so much for WWE.
This is true.
Now, Ethan Page, yeah. I mean, he should have been used a lot better in AEW, but that's neither here nor there. And then obviously with Pillman, the history there. I mean, it's
Who's
like
Pillman?
tailor-made. Oh,
you do it to me all the time, damn it. You mean Lexus King?
Lexus King.
Yeah, you're welcome. Payback.
At least they're calling Sean Spears again.
This is true. Yeah. Another one thing happened on NXT I really want to talk about, the return of Wendy Chu. What's going on there, man? I'm kind of freaking out, man. This isn't the happy-go-lucky, sleepy girl we knew before. No. This is somebody coming out who is wanting to kick some ass and take some names, man. Like, what do you think of this new look for Wendy Chu?
Yeah.
Make you want to pee your pants?
A little bit. I think it's up there with clowns for me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, the look is a little creepy, right? So, hey, also too, we got to see Brooks Jensen kind of trying to work his way into NXT as that storyline is continuing on too as well. Man, just so much going on, and we talked about Lexus King. God, what a Singapore Kane matchup he had against Dante Chen. Dude, NXT once again, Chef Michaels, love him or hate him, he is cooking up a feast every Tuesday night on the USA Network. And if you're not watching, man, you need to be checking out NXT. But the big story coming out of NXT this week, as all great that was, Cody would announce that Trick Williams's next challenger will be determined on this week's NXT with a 25-man battle royal that's not going to be inter-promotional. So, that being
he
said,
other locker rooms.
The gate's wide open. The door's open. Are we going to see, we're obviously probably going to see some Raw and SmackDown guys, but do we get some TNA wrestlers show up in this battle royal?
Say his name.
I was waiting for it.
He appears.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah, makes sense. I want to see it.
I think it should happen.
Oh yeah.
Will it happen? I don't know.
Time will tell, man.
Okay. Are you content if there's a TNA wrestler in it, but it's not Joe Hendry?
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed, but I mean, I'm content. Yeah. As long as we see somebody from TNA.
We know Moose wants to go over there. Like, we know that.
That would be crazy. I don't think it's him, but I mean, if it's his, holy shit.
Honestly, we were talking about it earlier. It wouldn't surprise me if AJ Styles in this match.
Oh, I could see him being in this. Totally. Yeah, would make sense. Got AJ Styles against Trick Williams. Come on, man. That'd be a hell of a matchup. But nonetheless, man, like we say, if you're not watching NXT on Tuesday nights, you need to do yourself a favor and watch it because they are firing on all cylinders. Well, my friend, it has come that time of the show. We need to get some more advice. This time from our good friend, one Sienna Chanel. So let's go to Sienna with this clip.
What I love about going to a wrestling show in a different town or city or state or even different country is the crowd atmosphere. Like, no matter if you're going to a local independent wrestling company or a pro wrestling company, you'll be seeing like the different crowd environment, especially when they're like hyping it on, cheering, like different random stuff to sing along and everything. And it's all about like bringing in the vibes to like different wrestling promotions too. And when it comes to like being a wrestling fan, it's like it's a very beautiful thing, because no matter what company you're supporting in different regions of places and whatnot, there is something special within the atmosphere, and that makes the show more hyped up, sending the more motivation for the fans to cheer and boo, and whichever the case would be for the wrestlers, the referees, the broadcasters, the rest of the staffs, and everybody too. And it is a beautiful thing. So there is no competition of like each of the places, because at the end of the day, everywhere is special, unique. And that is a beautiful thing about is wrestling in general.
100% agree, my friend. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, B-Roll, we are now officially into overtime here on our episode. We thank you all for joining us here tonight in this special supersized edition. But how crazy is this? Now we're just getting to AEW, man, because there's just so much damn wrestling going on. But let's talk about AEW this week. And, of course, we got to talk about the flagship show, AEW Dynamite, which kicked off with a segment there with the Elite, which would lead to a matchup between Jack Perry and Dustin Rhodes, a bloody affair. Of course, Jack Perry would defeat Dustin Rhodes and thus earn a spot in the TNT title ladder match at Forbidden Door. Also, got to talk about Swerve was in that segment too, and the Elite kind of approaching him to join a partnership. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Got to see Roosh brawl with MJF, which is going to lead to a matchup between those two this week on Dynamite, which will kick off the show. Commercial free, by the way.
Commercial free.
Commercial free. Also, we got to see this new tandem of Hook and Joe go to work against the Premier Athletes. Mercedes Moné was in action against I'm going to butcher her name, but Suxis, I think is. Anyways, it's Steph. I can't talk. Her opponent,
Navicure's
tag team partner. Thank you. Yes, try saying that 3 times. Facts. Yikes. But nonetheless, and of course, the main event. We can't forget about Will Ospreay against Rey Fenix. Awesome matchup as we get closer and closer to Forbidden Door. And also to that crazy all-star like 6-man tag with freaking Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe's promo beforehand, man, I loved it so much. I know you're as giddy as a schoolgirl thinking about it. Oh, are we talking? Okay, go ahead.
I had to try so hard not to put that photo on here.
We're talking about how you want to sit under the learning tree.
No. I mean, Billy Goat 2 belts looks pretty darn good.
Oh, I got you. Yes, the ending of Dynamite there. Yeah. You had like a Jericho look on your face. That was what was throwing me off.
Because I was giddy. But yeah,
yes.
I mean, the Jericho stuff was great as well. So
yeah. Let's talk about solid Rampage. Show. Solid show and another solid show. And once again, Rampage, man. Rampage is fun again, and I'm excited for that. I'm tuning in now regularly on Friday night after SmackDown goes off. It's a great 3-hour block of wrestling to go from SmackDown to Rampage, man. It's a nice little nightcap, I think. But awesome to see Shota Umino was in action on Rampage, going up against Rocky Romero. The Bastard Pac was in action too, as well, against Jay Lethal, and of course. Timeless Tony Storm. Anytime she's on our screen is great. But I think Rampage has gotten better, man. I really do in the past couple months. Very surprised about that, but it's enjoyable. And I think there's some storylines or parts of storylines that's happening on there that makes me want to watch because to see where those storylines progress, as it should be in pro wrestling. Let's talk about Collision celebrating their 1-year anniversary. And this was a solid show. First and foremost, we got to talk about it. Your two favorite gals in AEW going at it in a street fight, Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. How'd you feel about this, my friend? I know you were kind of on the fences about it.
Yeah, I mean, as I told you earlier, it is tough to see them fighting over me, but I mean, I try to stay out of it. But I think the right person won. If I have to say so.
Yeah. I mean, they're both great competitors. So, of course, a tremendous 8-man tag to kick off the show with the Blackpool Combat Club going up against your new IWGP Tag Team Champions and TMDK, along with Leo Rush and Rocky Romero. Also, we got to talk about that segment with Christian, man. The Father's Day. Oh my God, the shit he said, like to Nick Wayne about his dad. Like, fuck, dude. Like, I mean, it's Christian Cage though, so I mean, he's ruthless. But it was just like, damn, bro, he went there. Man, and then of course the Bang Bang Gang going up against the House of Black. It looks like the Patriarchy is going to be next in line to challenge for those trios tag team championships. I don't know. House of Black, I think, may have something to say about it. But I do have one gripe about this show. Okay? All right. Papa Khan, I know you're watching, so I want you to listen real close to this. All right? Learn how to book fucking Dalton Castle, you stupid bastard. Like, I'm getting sick of the squash matches. You're not doing shit with him. Just let him fucking go. If you're going to do this bullshit, he's like, you have a once-in-a-lifetime talent. You had another great talent, too, in fucking Danhausen, and look what the fuck happened there, even though he's still maybe under contract. I guess this is my second hot take, but you know what? You get two of them this week since it's a supersized show. But learn how to book fucking Dalton Castle. Let him go already, because he can do much better in Impact. He can do much better in WWE, anywhere else but in fucking AEW. And once again, I love AEW. You know this. I'm an AEW diehard. But the booking of Dalton Castle in Ring of Honor and AEW has been fucking atrocious, to say the least. He needs to get out of there in the worst way, because they aren't doing a goddamn thing with him. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I love Dalton Castle. Can you tell? I'm very passionate about Dalton Castle.
Yes. Hey, we sat through an entire taping of ROH hoping for Dalton Castle.
I think that's where the hatred comes from.
It was brutal. I will give one positive from this episode to end on a high note, right?
Yeah, and it was a good episode. Don't get me wrong.
The little package they did of like highlighting the collision.
Yeah.
I like that Punk was actually in it a couple of times.
He's a huge part of the show, so I mean, it makes sense.
I like that they didn't shy away from it. Like,
yeah,
they didn't overkill it, but like,
yeah, it wasn't overdone. It felt appropriate. Let's put it that way.
I feel like the fact that he was even shown in it, like even a little bit, is just like, maybe we can finally move on.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think so. But Collision, it was a solid show. I know I got a little spicy there. I'm sorry. But you know what? I think we should continue to spice things up a bit. So let's go to Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
Spicy Guac with a spicy take. The only real difference between a smart mark or a smark and a fickle wrestling fan is that one is in a basement and the other one is in the smallest room upstairs. Which one is which? You decide.
I see what you did there, and I like it. Well, hey, we are getting closer and closer to AEW's Forbidden Door. It is coming up here on June 30th. Little update on the card, and it's tremendous so far, folks. We know Swerve Strickland to defend the AEW World Championship against Will Ospreay. Jon Moxley to defend that IWGP Championship against Tetsuya Naito. The AEW Women's World titles on the line with Toni Storm defending against my girl, one Mina Shirakawa from Stardom. Also, title for title, as it's the New Japan Strong and the TBS titles up for grabs with Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Fakur. Also, Orange Cassidy one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. And your TNT Championship ladder match. We've got an update on participants in that, as now Your boy Dante Martin is now in the match. Are you just gonna stand there and fucking clap? Is that what that hole was? That whole spot? I literally go through reading all the matches, and you're just is that all that was for?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're lucky I love you. Nonetheless, Forbidden Door is looking like a solid show, man. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure there's gonna be more matches announced later on. So, well, let's talk about Impact from this past Thursday, as it was the go home 2 against all odds. It was a solid show, but the highlight by far was this system showing up in the Hardy compound, and we get yet another one of these great cinematic TNA moments from the Hardy compound. Like, I was eating it up, especially we got to see Gothic Baby, I think, for the first time on TV, or at least on TNA TV. Oh, man, I don't know what Alicia Edwards was thinking, man, but you don't fuck with Gothic Baby, dude. Like, you got another thing coming.
Edge showed up.
Edge showed up as a skeleton. Yeah. It was crazy. But it seems like every time they do that stuff in TNA, it's just like it always knocks it out of the park. And the thing is, TNA is the originator of that cinematic style. So it was great to see that once again in TNA. And of course, if you're not watching TNA wrestling on Thursdays, you need to, because they're another one like NXT that's firing on all cylinders right now. And speaking of red hot companies, we got to talk about GCW. Had 3 shows this past week, and you had Lights Out, Hit 'Em Up, and I Can't Feel My Face, all on the West Coast. Of course, Mance Warner in his first title defense on Lights Out went up against Jordan Oliver in an incredible matchup. Also, Nick Gage had a hell of a death match. Actually, he was so much so injured that he couldn't compete on the Sunday night show, so the matchup with Fuego del Sol had to be switched around with Sam Stackhouse. Huge shout out to him as he went up against his tag team partner Fuego del Sol. Danhausen on the card this weekend going up against Broski Jimmy, and then had a hell of a matchup against Smiley Kylie Ray, which is great to see her back in GCW. Also, a huge shout out too, as we got to see oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name too. A man called Dines or whatever. I got to see him wrestle. He's from Progress. He's from overseas in England. They brought him over for this weekend shows, and he had some incredible matchups. But what we really got to talk about is Hit 'Em Up from Saturday night, of course, from the Ukraine Center, and Mance Warner defending that GCW championship against Joey Janela in a brutal matchup. But the controversy afterwards, as Blake Christian showed up back again in GCW, Cousin Blake's back there. And man, oh man, it looks like sorry, we lost B-roll again, but we'll try to get him back in here. But nonetheless, it looks like we're going to some sort of unification matchup or something on down the road, as now there's 2 champions in GCW. GCW is the best, the absolute best independent promotion running right now. I defy you to find any company better than them right now. And the stuff that they have going on right now, some of the great storylines they have going on right now. I mean, I've said it on this show time in and time out. I'll say it again. The Effie Mance Warner feud, the rivalry, I think is the best rivalry in pro wrestling all this year. But these were solid shows, and you can catch replays of them all on Triller. And one more quick shout out to our good close friend Cole Radrick. Had a hell of a matchup with young Silva Fatu. GCW Lights Out too. If you haven't done so, man, you got to watch that matchup just on that show alone. So, but speaking of indie wrestling, let's go to our good friend Michael J. Duplessis with an indie report.
What up, y'all? It's boy Michael with another independent wrestling events report. First off, we have Mission Pro Wrestling presents Heatwave, Saturday, August 17th, 5 p.m. Doors open, 6 p.m. bell time at the Salvation Army Mission Corps at 3802 Southwest Military Drive in San Antonio, Texas. MissionProWrestling.com for tickets and more info. Secondly, we have Gory Pro Wrestling at the Casa Loma Ballroom in St. Louis, Missouri, 3245 Iowa Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri. Doors open at 2 p.m. Bell time is at 3. GloryProWrestling.com for tickets. And lastly, we have Action Pro Wrestling presents All-Star Battle 4. 6 p.m. doors, 7 p.m. bell time. Sunday, July 21st. Sat at the Sanford Civic Center, 401 Seminole Boulevard in Sanford, Florida. PWABattle.eventbrite. That is EVNTBRITE eventbrite.com. PWABattle.eventbrite.com. Y'all have a good day.
Some of the great independent wrestling you can check out there right now. And hey, Michael mentioned one of those promotions, Mission Pro Wrestling, and something huge happened there in Mission Pro Wrestling this weekend as they have a new world champion. It is everybody's favorite wrestling fan. She's all grown up now, and she just won her first major world championship. Izzy is now the Mission Pro Wrestling world champion. A huge congratulations to her. Those of you who don't remember, Izzy was the huge wrestling super fan of Bayley way back in the day, in the NXT days. So huge shout out to Izzy. We here at PW60, we want to wish you congratulations on already an amazing young career that she's starting off with and already getting her first championship win. That is awesome, man. You love to see it, bro. And speaking of indie wrestling, we got to talk about this too. How about NXT's Brooks Jensen showing up, working a show, continuing that storyline with is he gone from NXT?
Is he homeless? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but I love it and I'm here for it. And I'm eating every bit of it up, my friend. Also this week, related to the wrestling, because he is the final boss, we got to talk about The Rock, man. He had a pretty crazy week. First off, suffering an injury on the set of his new movie, The Smashing Machine. As he did some, I believe it was like a little tricep injury, not nasty looking like hematoma. So we want to wish the final boss well, and hopefully he gets back to shooting. And more importantly, sorry, not sorry, we get to see him soon in the WWE again. Also, speaking of The Rock, too, this was interesting. The Rock's $7 production company signed what's called a first look deal with Disney. So they're going to be doing some joint productions with Disney. That's exciting. But to me, B-roll, this I found the most fascinating. The Rock come out pretty much and said that him and Cody Rhodes are on that 1 yard line and on the precipice of one of the biggest matches in all of WrestleMania history, alluding to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. I think hey man, we got to finish Cody's story, but we didn't get to finish what this story is going to be. So Rock is teasing. Looks like we're going to get Cody and Rock at Mania, perhaps. Hey, I'm here for it.
Huh. Okay. Revelation just came to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
Remember when The Rock handed Cody something?
Yeah.
You know what it could have been like a poker chip. It could have been like a playing card.
Ooh, or something for I'll see you at Mania.
Like all tie-ins to Vegas.
Oh, I like it. I'm here for it, man. I think it's going to happen. Well, speaking of injuries, I know you were a little heartbroken about this. Your boy Dax Hardwood looks like he's down for a minute.
Yes, one of my favorite tag teams. I love my tag team wrestling. Yes, Dax Harwood took to social media this past week and basically kind of said he's going to kind of be out indefinitely. He admitted to kind of not being 100% truthful with the doctors and everything, but yeah, he's got a pretty bad hematoma on his lower back, and it looks pretty gnarly. I think he even posted a picture.
Yeah, that looked good.
But yeah, he said he's been dealing with it since AEW Dynasty and that ladder match. So, I mean,
yeah.
Get well soon.
Get well soon. Yeah, we wish you both. We wish you the best of getting well soon, my friend. Can't wait to see you back in the ring. Also, this was some sad news in real life. Otis, his sister passed away I believe it was earlier this week or a couple weeks ago or something. So we here at PW60 want to wish the big man our condolences to him and his family. Yeah, you hate to hear this type of news. Like I say, he's such a good dude, such a great wrestler, and he's in a red hot storyline right now. So definitely condolences to you, good sir. And let's talk about this on a positive side. I'm sure we've talked about this a little bit before on the show. I'm sure you've heard of the SGW promotion coming all the way out of Uganda. Cody Rhodes come out and said that he will pay for a wrestling ring for the SGW in Uganda because they just wrestle like with ropes and like on pretty much it's like mud and stuff. So
Now, like this is like the I think at least the second person I've heard saying they're buying them a ring. So how many rings are they going to have over there?
I don't know, man. They may be able. Hey, maybe they start their own like performance center, man. Hey, it's awesome. But all the stuff I've seen from them is pretty. It's pretty dope. It's pretty cool looking to say the least. So, but once again, Cody Rhodes just like, man, is there like not a nice bone in this man's body? I mean, come on, man.
I would ask AJ Styles about that because he did still end up hitting him with the steel steps. So
it's true. It's true. Oh fuck, we gotta talk about this again.
Speaking of naughty, okay, you let me cover this, good sir. All right, this is Mr. B-Roll here, your exclusive TMZ reporter here, and yes, what you see here is Sexy Red in a fight at an airport. What the freaking heck? Fresh off of NXT Battleground, gets her butt arrested for something that happened, I believe, before NXT Battleground.
I think this was before she got to Vegas. So, yeah, I guess she was feeling froggy, wanting to get into that wrestling spirit, but nonetheless, yeah, what the fuck, really? Like,
yeah. So no, like I kid you not. So as I was like, getting pictures for this presentation that we do here, like. I'm having to get pictures for like freaking TMZ. Like, what the freaking heck? Like, what is going on?
Well, it's pretty random. Speaking of random, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week here on PW60.
Party people or PW60 people? Are you party people or not? I don't know. Hey, but you're watching PW60, so you're part of this group, all that cool stuff. So, back again with my random moment of the week, and for the last 3 weeks, we've been covering in the What If series that I've got going. It's going to be quite a while, unless we do random stuff, pun intended, to kind of break things up. We looked at the late, great Owen Hart the last 3 weeks, and 2 weeks ago, if you remember, I asked the question, what if Owen Hart had went to WCW in 1997 somehow, some way, after the Montreal Screwjob? Now, kind of a continuance of that subject, the Montreal Screwjob itself. So, of course, Survivor Series, 1997, we all know what happened very famously. There's been a lot of theories about work, shoot, whatever. But let's take a look at this. Keep in mind with this question, with this what if question, the caveat, the preference, whatever, is Brett still does go to WCW. That does not change. But what if the Montreal Screwjob itself didn't happen? And we know that wouldn't have changed Brett's mind to stay longer. Again, keep in mind he's still on his way to WCW. Let's say he would have dropped the belt the following night on Raw. If so, who do you think he would have dropped it to? Do you think he still would have dropped it to Shawn Michaels, or maybe somebody else in the company? Maybe a Stone Cold, somebody else, anybody? And how do you think everything would have went down? Maybe a lot more peaceful, a lot less tension in between if it was done that way. So what do you think? Comment below, let us know, let me know. I'm curious, we're all curious, hopefully, about what if the Montreal Screwjob never took place at Survivor Series in 1997. Don't forget to follow all these awesome content creators, and you can follow me as well. So peace, love, and something, whatever, I guess. I gotta figure out, I'm trying to find a way to end these videos that's not terrible. So, random! That'll work.
Oh, Brian, man. Yeah, it's a great question too. It's like one of the biggest like what ifs in pro wrestling is what if the screw job doesn't happen. But you know what? That's a topic for a podcast at another time. Seriously, leave us some comments here and let us know what you think would happen. But Brian, we love you, and you know who else we love? We love our wrestling content creators, and this week our Ruby Ringside wrestling content creator is Not That Tom Green. Yeah. I'm enjoying watching his stuff because he does some really deep dives on stuff in WCW. I gotta be honest, B-roll, some of the shit's like stuff I don't even remember or know about. So it's really fascinating. If you're an old head like me and you love stuff like this, you should give Not That Tom Green, a follow over on the TikToks and other social media platforms, as he's our Ruby Ringside content creator of the week this week on PW60. Well, it's a big night tonight on Monday Night Raw. The QR code, these QR codes we've been seeing for months now, and it looks like all roads is leading to Monday Night Raw tonight. Man, oh man, I am super stoked for this episode, but it looks like we're finally going to see this Wyatt Six, this Uncle Howdy faction, whatever it is. And I can't wait. There is a lot of pressure on one Bo Rotunda right now, or I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what comes from this. But he's going to kill it. He's going to knock it out of the park. They're all going to knock it out of the park. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen with this. And hey, it's going to happen on Monday Night Raw tonight, it looks like. So we'll see where it goes. Also this week, interesting tidbit, WWE is filing to bring back the Bad Blood pay-per-view, which has been almost 20 years, B-roll, since they've done a Bad Blood show. So they're slating for like October-ish to do that, which is typically when the Bad Blood shows would happen. So yeah, that's interesting to see. And finally, big news coming out of AEW this week. AEW's Blood and Guts has been announced. We know the Elite will be in this matchup, and it will be taking place in Nashville, Tennessee, which, that's not too far from us. I'm just saying. But Blood and Guts will be coming up in July for AEW. Always an incredible matchup, so be on the lookout for that. And, of course, more information to come in the later weeks here in AEW. Well, Mr. B-Roll, and hey, I can't wait to see what's going to happen this next week in pro wrestling, because it's just on fire right now. And hey, a special announcement coming to you this Thursday live on Learning the Ropes. It is a monumental announcement. You're going to want to be there, because it is going to change the trajectory for Learning the Ropes going forward. I'm XLJ the OG, joined by Mr. B-Roll. And everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time on Pro Wrestling 60. Deuces, ooses.